Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and today's video is just going to be very chill, very relaxed. This isn't a review video at all. I just have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this particular drama, and that's why I'm talking about it today. But even with that, I hope that you still enjoy watching. What I'm talking about is Seito ga Jinsei wo Yarinaoseru Gakkou, or the school where students' lives can start over. It's a drama special for 24-hour TV's charity telethon event, where King and Prince is actually the main personality for this year's 44th anniversary. And Hirano Sho is the one who starred in this particular drama. Now, apart from the fact that Sho is the one who is the main lead for this drama, I absolutely love teacher dramas in general, which made me really anticipated this drama special. I've talked about this in the previous video before, but I'm going to mention it again briefly. The reason why I absolutely love teacher dramas is because I think the sad reality is we don't really get a lot of teachers who go out of their way to get to know troubled students or just students in general. And obviously, I know that teachers already have a lot on their plate, and that may be too much to ask. And that's just the reality of it. But it's probably the reason why these stories are gripping, is because even if we know that teaching as a profession is already a lot, we see these teachers in these dramas or films to still go out of their way to make sure that the relationships between their students aren't just fixed within the four walls of the school. It's not just that have-to type of relationship, but it's really more of dedicating yourself to being a part of these students' lives. And that's the reason why I feel like I'm personally drawn to these types of stories. But what's even more interesting about this drama is it's actually based from a novel of the same name by Kurokawa Shoko, who the story is actually shaped from interviews that the author has done in a real-life high school. And knowing that, these stories are actually referencing real-life stories of real people makes it even a lot more special in a way, in my opinion. So there's definitely that. Now, apart from Hirano Sho, Hamabe Minami, Harada Kenya, Itagaki Rihito, Michieda Shunsuke, or Michi from Naniwa Danshi, also star in this particular drama special. And I absolutely love the entire dynamic that went on with this, how it zoomed in into this bigger story of this school about two newbie teachers trying to navigate their way into this very untraditional type of school setup. And at the same time, it also zoomed in on very particular stories about students and how each of these relationships are built between these teachers. And it doesn't just focus on Hirano Sho's character, which is Kiyama Soichi, who is a physical education teacher, but it also focuses on the relationships built between other teachers and very particular students that are close to them in the narrative. With that said, so zooming in on just a general idea of what the plot is about, again, there's Kiyama sensei played by Hirano Sho, and there's also Okabe sensei played by Hamabe Minami, and they're newbie teachers who enter this school, which has sort of an unconventional way as to how they deal with things. So the teachers are pretty laid back when it comes to treating the students. There's not really an antagonistic relationship between the teachers and the students, even if the students are a bit unruly. But it's really more of them just wanting them to keep coming back to school and finding the school as some sort of a sanctuary of sorts, and just to have them go back over and over, and they can just do whatever they want. Now, what I find interesting in this sort of story is there's definitely a good relationship between the students and the teacher, but it's really more of a relationship of convenience and tolerance, other than an actual holistic relationship that is mutually beneficial for both at first. And the reason for this is because while the intentions of the teachers are good, it leaves the students unchecked in a way that they think that whatever it is that they're doing is okay. They're provided a sanctuary in school, but at the same time they're not being guided. So finding the right balance between both, between giving them a sort of freedom whenever they're in school to decide who they want to be, and at the same time still guide them to want to choose better apart from their own circumstances, is what the drama is about, and what the drama is trying to explore, or has explored throughout the narrative. We start off with both Kiyama Sensei and Okabe Sensei being bullied by the students because at first they were trying to be either very friendly or being very strict with them. But eventually, because they decided to face them head on and they decided to keep persevering in terms of learning about these students outside of just school, and actually talking to them and communicating to them, not as children, but as people of the same footing, it allowed the students to open up to them and actually trust them. But at the same time, it wasn't just a one-way thing that we often see in like the more fiction versions of these teacher dramas. But here we see that just with people in general, people can learn from each other, whether you're an adult learning from someone younger than you or the other way around. And that's one of the beauty of what's being portrayed in this drama as well, is that apart from the fact that these students started learning more about, wanting to decide better for themselves from their teachers, and the relationship of being teachers, not just being a title in terms of profession, but teaching them something about life even more so. And even the teachers also learn something from their students, and to become more patient and be more understanding, and to look beyond what they're just seeing personas that they're trying to put out in school, where they're a lot more free or a lot more open, or they can shape or reshape who they are beyond their normal circumstances. Like school here was initially a form of escapism, but then eventually it became this place for them to actually want to be better. And I think that's the beauty of it. I like the dynamic of like the side stories between Hamabe Minami's Okabe Sensei and then this one student Misaki who had to deal with like teenage pregnancy. I like how it wasn't a story about asking her to come back to school or just forcing her to like choose something beyond or just it's all about respecting the decision of the student as well, and making them be a person who isn't like below you because you're a teacher, but it's more of like developing that friendship outside of just being a teacher and a student. But again, it's developing an understanding that extends beyond, like, even if they're not your students anymore, but that you've made an impact in their lives. And that's what that particular story stood for me as a viewer. I think there's also the very unusual and overly friendly relationship between Harada Kenya's character and there's this one female student who initially you might think that it's sort of like off how clingy the student is with him, but again they proved that it's not a relationship of malice, but it's more of like comfort in a way where this kind of like very close relationship between the two of them allowed that student to be comfortable, or even if she's not really more of like someone who's comfortable or open to other teachers, but because she found this very open and understanding relationship with this one teacher, and therefore it allowed her to want to pursue to be better. And when she started working and that teacher became one of her customers, it's a very simple but touching moment as well in the story in a way, because you see both of them developing from one point, moving from one point to another as teacher and student, and I really love that arc as well. But obviously Kiyama Sensei is the main character of sorts for this story, so obviously he had a lot more side storylines to like deal with, especially for the two characters played by Michi and the other one for Rihito. For Rihito, he discovered, Kiyama Sensei discovered that, he's this very like chaotic, mischievous type of kid in school, but at the same time, like, he actually cares a lot for his younger brothers, and Kiyama Sensei learns this, and he sort of like even grows to understand like the character's circumstances more. But the heavier story arc for this one would be the relationship between Kiyama Sensei's character and also the character played by Michi. And because I feel like that one, no one expected, like all the people who was watching with me and was tweeting last night while watching. I feel like all of us expected that the story will turn for a worse detour, something like that, like a sad storyline. But none of us expected the twist that happened in the middle of the story about Michi's character and what happened to his character in that. But it was definitely one of the most touching scenes that happened, but definitely the most tear-jerking one in my opinion. But again, the way that happened, and it sort of like concluded in the middle, but at the same time we circle back to that at the end of the story when the drama was concluding as to how Kiyama sensei and Michi's character and that student also, like, they saw each other again after a while, after some time has passed, and the relationship between how much the impact they've had against each other's lives is very, very evident in that very, very simple scene, in that very final scene. Delivered such a beautiful impact, a beautiful message in terms of wrapping up the entire thing and the message of just drama in general, and absolutely really, really like that. I like how it's a story about trust, not just between, you know, the student and the teacher, but also the teacher to the student. It's a story about sometimes, you know, as adults we feel like we have to hold back, or we have to be you know, we have to act like quote-unquote adults, especially when faced with someone younger than us. But it also reminds us that sometimes they need a certain level of honesty from us so that they can learn from us, and at the same time we can also learn from them. It's not because these people are younger that we couldn't learn anything from them anymore, and the other way around. So there. And I don't know, like, again, I think aside from that, all the emotions that went into that drama, I just have to say that I really missed seeing Sho act again. Like, I mean, Kaguya-sama 2 is ongoing in Japan right now. It's premiering in Japan in cinemas right now. So there's definitely that. But in terms of like acting in a way that like in such a very important and dramatic and human kind of role, I really, really absolutely love that. And I just missed seeing him acting in general. I also love how there's definitely a roller coaster of emotions that went into this drama, where it's funny and it's worrying, and then there's also like just tear-jerking moments. Absolutely love how, especially in moments where Kiyama sensei is about to cry or has cried, you can see definitely the buildup of emotions in Sho's face, and how that escalates slowly but effectively in the scenes that he's in. Same with Hamabe Minami, especially that scene in when, you know, they're watching a basketball game, and at first she was holding herself back, probably because, you know, it's the whole adult thing where you have to be composed and everything all the time, but she just bursts in emotion and wanting to like support the students playing, and that elevates the scene into this whole other level of emotions and feelings, and I definitely love that transition and emotion as well. But yeah, moving again about the fact that, you know, obviously I have my biases given that Sho is the one starring in this drama, and absolutely was looking forward to him playing this role. But aside from the whole like acting thing, there's just something about his normal person outfit. I guess, like with the whole white shirt, white button down thing, slacks, everything, that he looked so good in this drama that in the middle of me crying in the scenes, it's also sort of like distracting me in a way as to how good he looked. So it's a good thing that he can also act. Also, that, just putting it out there. But yeah, so tell me down in the comments below, have you seen the drama last night as well when it aired? I know that it's already slated for a Blu-ray and DVD release for January of next year, so there's also that to look forward to. So yeah, with that said, so tell me all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one. Bye!